Interesting stuff. If there is a storm coming, told you so. Hey, it's Dave 2. As you know, I'm here from the February video. I'm from the future, trying to save you. You already know about the winter storm. You know about the record-breaking temps on the East Coast and the South and everything there. You know that I talked about it in December. I get it. It's boring. But I'm literally wearing a skeleton shirt from the February news. I'm from the future. If you want to get uncontrolled on this channel with me, let's go watch that, okay? This is your invite. Hey, it's Dave 2. I'm going to go over my January news session now that we're I think I've got way enough feedback on the snooze fest. I told everybody don't watch it. It's just a big winter storm. And ultimately that ended up manifesting as Cora, Demi, and Enzo. So my big thing with news is that when you're doing prophecy, I really think that we should flip the script. And in remote viewing, you're not supposed to name names. You're supposed to just describe and stay away from nouns. But in prophecy, like if you just do that, you know, like obviously winter's going to be cold. So there needs to be some hardcore specific things for you to actually hit, right? Like let's get specific so that, you know, it really is a hit and not just any sort of old guessing. So some of these main prediction points that I had, a lot of this is generated from ChatGPT. I think I updated a little bit with what I said in the video, but potentially affects large areas of the eastern United States and the South, including Tennessee, Nashville, South Carolina, all the way down to Florida. Very large scale, covering hundreds to thousands of miles. Extreme cold, widespread snow and icy conditions, power outages, and major disruptions in daily life. Described as historical, potentially setting records. Records were just sent all the way across the South for Enzo. The duration was estimated to last several weeks, around 3 weeks, which we'll get into. Lots of roads closed, stores unavailable, stockpiling delayed, and the inauguration having snow covering the Capitol, which kind of happened a little bit, but they did have to move things indoors, and that was a non-standard inauguration, which I don't think they've done that since '86 for Reagan's second term. Knowing that the storm was coming, something I used to do in the Seattle area was I would cover all of my spigot things outside so that it wouldn't freeze. And just this morning, somebody in my neighborhood was posting that they had all their stuff frozen. I went and I thought I only had 2 spigots on the outside of my house. So I'm at Home Depot. And as I'm sitting there, I grab 2. And then I hear clairaudiently a voice and it's like 3. And I'm like, what? So I walk around to the other side of the other corner of my house that usually I don't go to because doesn't have a gate over there. And sure enough, there was a third one on the wall. And the only reason why I got 3, which I probably should have bought an extra one anyway, was because of some sort of intuition-based thing. So I tossed those on, I think first week. This is probably like January 6th. Next day, I've never gotten one of these before since I moved here. But I live in Myrtle Beach, and I got a message from our HOA basically saying, hey, like your pipes may freeze and everything, and you need to start getting prepared and ready. So I was like, that's cool. I started paying attention to a lot of different weather channels. Ryan Hall, y'all, is awesome. And he provided a bunch of great information about like how this is like a very unique storm for all of us. And one of the aspects of this is somebody asked, why do I think I missed the fires? In the session itself, I was like, I'm so bored right now. I feel like I want something more from it. And the response from my subconscious was basically, yeah, but this is personally relevant to you. This is like what you need to know about January. And this did affect me. So that makes a lot of sense. One of the feelings I had was there was a big storm in the Seattle area a long time ago. And like we all like busted out a bunch of candles and everything. And I have electromagnetic hypersensitivity. So every time the power's out, I notice it. It's very quiet. There isn't this like high pitched ringing. There isn't this buzzing sensation. It's just very peaceful and wonderful. And that's what it felt like. And even early on, as early as January 7th, there were 180,000 people without power across the US. And we've had lots of power flickering here this whole month, basically, in South Carolina. The inauguration was moved indoors. They published this. I don't know if that's a real photo of this time or if they were just posting another photo of the White House, you know, with snow on the ground, but that was one of the predictions. This last storm this past week, so this was taken yesterday in the afternoon. like the South completely shattered records from Texas all the way through the South there, Georgia and North Florida, up to me in South Carolina, like just shattering records. I called out a bomb cyclone, which it happened in the West Coast, the Northwest Coast up by like Seattle, Canada area. And then there was one slightly after that. And I'd never heard of this term before, a bomb cyclone. But what I was seeing in the session, in addition to this stuff, was this big rotating storm off the coast. And sometime in one of the things, I think this was like 2 weeks ago or so, they were looking at a bomb cyclone offshore up there in the region, and it ended up going and then coming like right back, so it didn't hit the coast. Now, getting into this chart, I drawn this chart and was like, it's going to hit as low as Florida. And sure enough, the sub-freezing temps did go into Florida. In this area, especially, I think it was Milton, Florida, got about 8 inches of snow, which is pretty rare. So the thing I like about this is like, January is gonna be cold, water is wet, and summer is warm. But I'm making very specific statements of what will happen. And like for us here in South Carolina, this is the most snow that we've gotten in at least Myrtle Beach since 1989. It hasn't snowed in like measurable inches, I think, since 2011 or so. And then before that, 2000, with like 3.5 inches each. I measured 5 inches at my house here. So just good call outs there with the map and everything. So technically this is 3 storms overlapping with the bomb cyclone over the course of 3 weeks. I didn't even know that they named them, but there's Cora, Demi, and Enzo. And one of the earlier ones was that band that we saw on a previous slide up north. Just showing more of, what it looked like. I guess I've never really looked at a radar thing, but just seeing that stretch down all the way into Florida and such is a very odd year for all of us. Another thing I had was Nashville basically just getting pummeled. They got pummeled early on with Cora, and this original storm just came right through here and just made the area pretty snowy. So I live about here. That's where Myrtle Beach is. And yeah, this area got covered pretty early on. Based off that color, 5 to 8 inches, little spots of 12 to 18. And this is my backyard. That's the pool from the C5 session. I never thought I would see this, which is kind of crazy. But the pond behind my house was frozen over. We got about 5 inches of snow, which is pretty wild. And yeah, there's my driveway. So personally affected me, and that's, I believe, why I got it. I also did the wildest session that I ended up posting that ended up being something from SpaceX. But I think this was good, and I'm glad that my subconscious gave me this data. And in addition, I do want to get what we all would consider to be the top news. I am appreciative that there was a lot of really specific info here where it wasn't just the TLDW. Too long didn't watch, like that winter's going to be cold. I think this is a rare event that crushed records and provided us like the worst winter weather in 36 years. So pretty wild stuff. I will link to the video below. It's just called January 2025 News Prediction. It's like a couple videos ago. But if you're interested in seeing some prophecy hits like that, go check it out. Thanks.